American public transportation is a scam. I'm not saying it, Americans are.
Hello amazing viewer, delighted to have you once more at Comfort for Life. I bring to you compilations of TikTok and Red Note videos for educational purposes. If you are new here, consider subscribing, and to my returning viewers, I love and appreciate you. America has so many brandings, and owning a car is part of the brandings that I once believed was a flex. It was because they had it rosy, but the more I research on the struggles that Americans face on a daily basis, the more grateful I'm becoming. Check what they need instead.
No, you don't understand. They can't give us public transportation because then you wouldn't buy a car. And then you wouldn't pay for gas. And then on top of that, what would happen to the car insurance companies? Because you wouldn't have that either.
I still don't think you guys understand. You wouldn't need a car. You don't have to register your car. Less money for the state. You wouldn't need your car inspected because you don't have a car. Less money to dealerships because they wouldn't need to sell you a car. Less DUIs, less speeding tickets, less any other car related tickets, which means less money that the police get, which means less money that the state gives the police. Less car accidents and less accidents regarding cars, which means less money the insurance gets. But who needs insurance because we don't need cars? Which also means less money to hospitals. Well, we're not getting in car accidents like that no more, so less people are going to the hospital for car accident related injuries. Less money to the toll system because less people are using cars, which means we don't need to get on the highways because we're using public transportation. People aren't going to rely on gas anymore, well, because they don't have cars, which means the price of oil and gas is going to go down, which means less money to oil and gas companies. Why we don't have a high-speed domestic railway system? Well, because they are going to rely on electricity, which means less money to oil and gas. Oh, and wait, people are definitely going to rely on their train system more than the airplane system, which means less money on airports, which means less money to airlines, which means airlines are going to have to drop their ticket prices. Oh, wait, airlines use jet fuel. They're going to have to drop the jet fuel prices. I could keep going on, but I think you guys get it. These companies in all of my scenarios are lobbying against a public transportation system, a reliable public transportation system, because that means less money for them. And trust me, it goes a whole lot deeper than what I just explained. But let me know what you guys think. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.
And let's continue onward, because in the state of California, didn't they just put up the fact that they wanted us to go all back into the office? For what? Because you want me to utilize my car in order to get there because it creates a hardship. I have to use the infrastructure that we have in order to do things. I have to spend my money on gas in the city that I live in. So things are orchestrated all the time in order to make us without. Like, my existence is not here for a corporation to thrive. I don't fuck if you get $10, $15, $20 out of whoever the fuck. This is why it's important to stand our ground. We should be able to work at home. I shouldn't need to go and drive 14 minutes up the motherfucking road to do exactly what the fuck I'm finna do today. You feel? I'm tired of this kind of shit. And watching his video and her video proves the point. They create all of this shit, this magical, mystical bullshit, in order to make sure you waste your life energy fixing. You want me to break down my shit in order to continue to fix shit. I'm gonna need an oil change because I gotta go run up here constantly, back and motherfucking forth. And then, you know what I'm saying? When the things that I'm doing should not even exist. These types of jobs that we're doing are useless. Why are we doing any of it? Because we're collecting money, fake ass shit, for entities. Houses, apartments, all that shit should be $500 to $600. If you don't put cell phone bills back down to $35 to $40, I'm having a very, very hard time sitting here every single day while we just do click, click, clickety, click, click, click. Like,
you have to understand, this administration is cutting all the different transportation projects that do positive things for public transportation and also safe routes to school, safer streets, stuff like that, because they want you in their car. Because for a few reasons. First of all, or they want to support oil and gas, right? Second of all, they want to keep you poor. Because think about, I don't have a car note. I don't have car insurance. I don't have to pay for gas. I have a public transportation card, and that is it. And that provides me with so much freedom and so much extra. And yes, I live in a high income area, but when you start to figure in a lot of these costs, that's what you would pay living here, to be honest. I see all these posts. Oh, my car note is $500 and my insurance is this. And then if your car breaks down, that's thousands of dollars a year. You're racking up debts over a car, having to be in a car. And that's not even to mention the fact that they're getting rid of work from home for a lot of people because they're propping up the real estate industry.
I want to show a comparison what's going on in China versus what's going on in the United States. China just got done building the world's tallest bridge within 3 years of construction. To help pay for the cost, they also created a theme park on the bridge. And then there's this elevator, glass elevator that shoots you up, and there's restaurants and coffee bars up there. People can bungee jump, and look at this light show at night. At night, they transformed the bridge into a rave. Look at all this. Meanwhile, this is America, the land of the free. This is what we're doing. $170 billion to do this. So far, we spent $71 million for Trump to play golf, $170 billion for ICE to go terrorize Black, Latino, and Asian communities, $15 billion for border wall, $140 million for Trump security, not to mention the fancy ballroom that none of you are going to be invited to, $170 million to deploy the troops to United States cities like LA, Portland, and Chicago. Oh, and not to mention $20 billion to bail out Argentina, Elon Musk's buddies. And we need to do this to make this country great? Is it great yet? One nation is building, the other one is destroying.
Last month, my electric bill was $300, so I went out of my way to get blackout curtains.
I'm gonna just keep this quick. Americans need to have a revolution. Like, it's time. Take it to the streets. Like, I'm over.
So first, watch this clip. Ask me, how do we protest that? How do we reform that? Who are we going to hold accountable? They're trying to gaslight you into being okay with them doing stuff like this. They're killing people. They're killing people, and they're going home to their families smiling in their warm, cozy beds next to their wives and their children, while the next day they strip away somebody else's family. We've been trying to plan and organize and coordinate with the idea that we're trying to coordinate around people who have humanity, human beings. This is some other type of species of human being. All the politicians right now are failing us miserably.
So you're ready to boycott paying rent. You're ready to boycott paying your mortgage. You're ready to boycott paying the utility bills. You're ready to boycott paying for your insurance, health insurance, car insurance, life insurance. You're ready. Are you? Are you really? Because outside of the little voice that's in my head constantly telling me not to pay for shit that I don't want to pay for, there's a lot of you guys in my comment section stating that this is the next move, that this is where we got to take things. Like, the next boycott is boycotting rent, boycotting mortgage, boycotting insurance, boycotting light, water, all of these things. But do you honestly understand the position that you'll be placing yourself and your family in? And I am by no means going to be giving you examples of what's to come as means of a deterrence. I'm all for it, because if we pull this together and we do it correctly, it will be successful. It's just, are you willing to deal with the sacrifices? And when I ask this question, I'm not talking to Black Americans. Y'all been sacrificing forever. I'm not talking to, Black diaspora. We know what it means to sacrifice for peace, but I'm talking to the rest of America. Because if the American citizens were to collectively organize, not paying any housing bills, not paying any utility bills as a form of protest, right? To protest the capitalism that is literally making it so that nobody can fucking live, to protest the inflation, to protest all of the fucking injustices that we're dealing with financially here in America, the consequences are going to be serious. Initially, you'll be dealing with evictions and foreclosures, okay? Before that, you'll obviously get the warnings, but then after that comes in the evictions and the foreclosure. Then comes the utility shutoffs. They're going to be shutting off the water. They're going to be shutting off the lights. They're going to be shutting off the gas, okay? These are all things that you pay for. These are services that you pay for. If you don't pay, they're going to shut it off. All right. And so that's going to severely impact your health, your safety, and daily functioning. OK, especially for the vulnerable populations. So those with compromised immune systems, the elderly, the young, the youth, the infants, and then add in the factor of the sick, the disabled. Like, are you guys ready for that? I mean, there is the mention of your credit being damaged, but who really cares right now when we're fighting for something bigger, right? So I'm just going to put that on the back burner. Next up is legal action. You don't pay these service providers, they can take you to court and have, your wages garnished. So just make you think about that as well. Now, this is the flip side, right? If collectively Americans just stop paying their rent, stop paying their mortgage, right? As far as the housing courts and things are concerned, it is going to create a overwhelming crisis for eviction courts and for the emergency housing services. They're not going to be able to kick everybody out. They're not going to be able to issue evictions and foreclosures on every single person because they're going to be overwhelmed. And that is the point. If every single person, you understand, or if you have at least 1 out of every 3 American deciding to not pay their rent, not pay their mortgage, not pay certain utilities and whatnot, housing fees, they're not going to be able to get to everybody because they're going to be so overly whelmed. And then that's the point, right? Leads into the next point. Believe it or not, the landlords, the utility providers, they all depend on that payment. They depend on the payment more than you think. More than you think, okay? And in actuality, a widespread of non-payment could destabilize local economies and public services. So again, if enough of us do it all at once, we can make it happen. We could actually make it happen. Now let's go into the next point. Political pressure. That right there, that's the goal. Political pressure is the fucking goal, okay? If coordinated and sustained, such a protest could force policymakers to address inflation more aggressively. The point. Possibly through rent control, we need that. Utility subsidizing, we need that. Or broader economic reforms and relief. We need that. That is the point. Again, all of us need to be on one accord. On one accord. Now that's my next problem, right? Is everybody being on one accord. When it comes to the marginalized groups here in America, I believe we could get them to agree to this. My problem is rural America. That's my fucking problem. They don't listen to us. They don't listen to anybody smarter than them. They don't listen to anybody darker than them. And they, unfortunately, have a lot to say. Do we want it to be this way? No, but they do. And if they don't agree and get on the same line with us, we're fucked. So if after getting everything that I listed out to you, this is still something that you're trying to do, I'm down. I am down. However, I just want to make sure that we're all on one accord, because that's what's needed. That's what's necessary in order to make this actually a success. We all have to be on one accord. That's it. That's all. So until we can figure out a way to get rural America on board, I don't think that we're going to be able to successfully have that kind of boycott. I'm just saying, not right now.
I find all the excuses Americans use to not do anything against their insane government ridiculous. What, we're too right, our president is whatever. Italy has like Diet Mussolini and they're still shutting their entire country down. Oh, like it's not safe. It's not. Yemen is literally like blockading the Red Sea and about to link up with Colombia to do a ground invasion in Israel. And they're getting bombed. They've been getting bombed for 10 years straight, mind you. Like, oh, like we can't organize. Like, okay, Nepal. By the way, I know Nepal's kind of, but like all these other places are doing these things. What is it, Morocco? I just seen Morocco in flames. Guys, we have no excuse. But you know what the reason really is? The reason is our government is a reflection, an accurate reflection of the American people and American society and American culture. That's why things are the way they are and things aren't being done that much about it. Remember, Donald Trump won the popular vote. Everybody was mourning Charlie Kirk's death. We all saw on our Instagrams, every other person was mourning Charlie Kirk. Most Americans are fascists. That's why. That's where we are.
Say comparison is a killer of joy, but how do you even get to know that you're being tricked if you don't compare? Like, how do you get to know that you deserve better if you don't check in your brother's room to see what they got going on? Like, how do you get to know? America is really going through a lot, and I was expecting that the direction that they will be heading to would reverse everything that has been happening. But since there is a moment of silence, I think we should remain quiet for a while so that we can just sit and observe and see what will be the outcome. And I must say, this is a very critical time for this nation. Keep them in prayer, but also we hope for the best. We hope that things will change because people who work hard really need to live comfortably. Yeah. I don't know how you guys cope with mental illness, because if there's something that I don't really get to cope with, it's stress. I don't know how do you guys cope with it. Because anyway, that was it about this compilation. Like the video for recommendation, subscribe if you're new here, share your thoughts in the comment section.